outskirts of Boston, hidden away in a secret lab, a father and son team were hoping to become fabulously rich. They were trying to grow in their laboratory the most valuable gemstone known to man. No one knew if it would work.
Following growth, you always put the diamond into an acid vat to clean off any graphite that's on the surface. So we put this piece in, left it over the weekend.
They had spent years refining their technique, but so far, every attempt had failed. But checking in on that Monday morning, Robert Linnaeus noticed something very odd. At first, it seemed that not only had the experiment failed, but the diamond had disappeared completely.
We came in on Monday, and we didn't see the diamond there. We saw nothing. And then we looked further, and we noticed that the crystal was there. But it was perfectly transparent. It was perfectly colorless. It was like someone had pulled a hood off of our head and we could see the truth. And at that moment, we knew we had crossed a huge barrier and we could now make very perfect diamond.
Robert Linnaeus had achieved something that had eluded science for centuries. He had made a gem-quality diamond to rival the very best found in nature, a breakthrough so astonishing that it might revolutionize the multi-billion-dollar diamond market. Diamonds are the ultimate statement of luxury. Glittering and sexy, they've never gone out of fashion. Even today, there are plenty of women who believe diamonds are a girl's best friend.
Our job as marketers is not to make women want diamonds. I can tell you, they want them before we start. Our job is just to help them to get them.
Come and get me, boys.
I've talked to enough women around the world about diamonds to know what it is that they dream about. They dream about owning a piece of eternity.
What makes diamonds so special is that they sparkle like no other gemstone.
It has that unique combination of life and brilliance and flash. It really makes you feel special when you're looking at it.
Such is the allure of these rocks that people go to extraordinary lengths to get their hands on them.
Good evening. 5 men who tried to pull off the biggest robbery in history were jailed today for a total of 74 years. They tried to steal £200 million worth of diamonds on display at the Millennium Dome. They got as far as smashing a supposedly bomb-proof display case. But the flying squad knew all about the plot and they were waiting in ambush. One said, "I was only 12 inches from payday. It would have been a blinding Christmas."
Diamonds occur naturally in the ground, but digging them out is immensely difficult. With mines located in some of the world's most inhospitable places, it's a dangerous and very expensive business. You have to shift over 200 tons of rock for every carat of diamond. But ironically, diamonds, for all their fire and sparkle, are actually just a very hard version of an extremely common element. Diamond is nothing more than a lump of carbon. In nature, pure carbon is more readily found in a different form, as soft, black graphite.
You see, these structures couldn't be more different. You have graphite, which is a beautifully layered structure. It has layers of carbon atoms, separated by very weak bonds. Now, within the layers, each carbon atom is beautifully coordinated to 3 other carbons, and that leads to very strong layers. But the bonding between the layers are exceptionally weak.
But if that bonding is rearranged, something remarkable occurs.
By contrast, Diamond is the hardest material known, and it's hard because of the way it's bonded together. This three-dimensional linkage in which every carbon atom is surrounded by 4 neighbors, and it forms a complete three-dimensional structure. You know, a structure can only be as strong as its weakest direction, and in diamond there are no weak directions. Every bond is almost as strong as a bond can be.
The difference between the two forms of carbon is so subtle that scientists have searched for ways of transforming cheap graphite into much more valuable diamond.
Synthesizing diamonds had been a holy grail. For physicists, for chemists, for 200 years, people had tried to make diamonds and they had failed.
That 2 centuries-long quest began with a worldwide hunt for clues. The very first came from the way diamonds were formed in nature. It's believed that diamonds are created 200 kilometers beneath the Earth's surface, and that they can take millions or even billions of years to form. It's then during rare and exceptionally violent volcanic eruptions that diamonds are blasted to the surface within a rock called kimberlite.
Finding diamonds in kimberlite gave hints to how diamonds were formed. It told you needed high temperature and high pressure because that's where the kimberlites came from, this volcanic rock from deep in the earth.
The task facing would-be diamond makers was to mimic the vast pressures and savage temperatures found deep in the earth, and to do it not over millions of years, but in days. No one got close until the 1950s. Working in the greatest secrecy for the engineering company General Electric, a team of American scientists took up the challenge. They aimed to create diamond from graphite. GE spent millions of dollars developing a gigantic 400-ton diamond press. It produced pressures up to 60,000 atmospheres and temperatures topping 3,000 Celsius. But they were making little headway.
So experiments were done on trying to convert graphite or carbon into diamond. Well, going straight from graphite to diamond didn't work.
For 4 years, all they got were broken presses. There was something missing in their chemistry, so they looked for new clues. In a meteorite crater in Arizona, diamonds had been discovered encased in a substance called troilite, or iron sulfide. These diamonds were formed by the high pressure and temperatures created during impact. The GE scientists believed that troilite might be the missing ingredient needed to convert graphite into diamond. So they had another go.
It was a wintry day. It was cold, but the sun was shining through the window. And I had put some troilite in this graphite tube. I put it in my apparatus. I turned up my heating system, and I put the pressure on.
The force builds up and up and up, eventually reaching nearly 500 tons, almost 1 million pounds per square inch. The outer surfaces reach 750 degrees Fahrenheit. Inside, 2,600 degrees Fahrenheit.
They could only risk running their machines for a few minutes, but they hoped it would be enough. Then, just as they'd done dozens of times before, they broke open the capsule.
I got down to the point where I picked things apart and got to look at what's there in the middle. And my eyes caught the gleam of the sun shining on these things. And I twirled it around a little bit and saw the sparkles. My knees weakened. I had to sit down. I was overwhelmed. And at that instant, I knew that man had finally turned graphite into diamond.
There are headlines in all the newspapers around the world. GE is making diamond now. Wow, it was just a very nice feeling that we had a tough problem and we had solved it. We had been challenged and we met the challenge and faced it and won.
But for all this triumph, GE's diamonds were nowhere near good enough to adorn the neck of a movie star. Nevertheless, their grit-sized grains didn't go unnoticed in the boardroom of the most powerful diamond-producing cartel in the world. De Beers is the diamond industry, and it's dominated the market for well over 100 years.
We'll sell in the neighborhood of $5 billion worth of rough diamonds. I would have thought a figure north of 100 million carats a year of total rough production. Somewhere between 50 and 60% of the world's supply.
From their headquarters in central London, De Beers rough diamonds are sorted and distributed around the world, sold to select dealers for cutting and polishing. For years, De Beers have maintained extraordinary levels of control on the $60 billion global diamond market. Initially, they didn't see the arrival of man-made diamonds as a threat. They were just too low quality, fit only for making industrial cutting tools. However, De Beers did see potential danger in the future if diamond-making technology improved. So, at a discreet facility on the outskirts of London, De Beers created the Gem Defensive Program. At vast cost, the new scientific division was set up to develop techniques to distinguish between natural and synthetic diamonds.
Clearly, we knew that someday synthetic gems would be made available.